I cringe when I see him. I cringe when I hear their policies. I cringe for the future of this nation.
Pressure is mounting on Prime Minister Anthony Albanese to dump Immigration Minister Andrew Giles after yet another visa scandal. It's been revealed some foreigners accused of heinous crimes, including a serial rapist who attacked 25 women and a child, were allowed to stay in this country because of a directive made by
A pair of bozos. So people have to realise this. It's where your vote goes, who you're voting at as the next government. If you return these pair of bozos, well, I tell you what, along with the rest of them, we're going to be worse off now in the future down the track unless we do something about it.
Well, he's got the minister now having to rewrite, effectively scrap his directive and come up with a new one. Surely that is enough in its own right, because this was his directive. Giles brought this directive in. Surely he has to go.
He has to go. Everyone keeps calling for it, but Albanese is protecting him. So it's his mate. He's protecting him because I think they're a pair of bozos. So.
Should Andrew Giles go?
Warning, I am about to talk garbage and not answer the question again.
Well, Nat, I can reiterate some of what Minister Giles said in the Parliament yesterday, and that is that the decisions that you've referred to in your opening there overturned cancellation decisions that were made within the Home Affairs Department, and we're really deeply concerned about some of these decisions. It does appear that the decisions made by this independent tribunal are not meeting community expectations and not putting proper stead on the importance that we place on community safety. So actually Minister Giles has stepped in here. He is taking action as a good minister would do. He has demanded answers from the department about why these visas were not brought to his attention, and he is also actively reviewing about 30 cases that we are concerned about. Indeed, he has already cancelled some of those visas. So he's doing the right thing. He's stepped in at the right moment, and it's important that this action is taken.
He stepped in at the right moment. OK, a lot of people would dispute that. He put in this direction, this ministerial direction, last January. Then people raped children. Then they used the laws, this direction that was put in by your government, and argued that they had ties to this country, their families needed them, and their families loved them, and they used that direction to stay in this country. So do you think it's maybe too late that Andrew Giles is acting now?
Warning, I am about to talk garbage and not answer the question again.
Look, Nat, I understand the concerns that you're raising there, and I understand this is a part of the detail here, but I just reiterate what Minister Giles has said yesterday. Those visas were cancelled by the part that government plays in this. An independent tribunal overturned those decisions, and the minister is now stepping in and seeking to consider again whether those visas can be cancelled. So I'd say to you again, Andrew Giles is a good minister. He's diligent in his work, and this is the right process dealing with the situation that we have here.
He gave the direction to the tribunal, didn't he? So doesn't the buck stop with him?
Warning, I am about to talk garbage and not answer the question again.
Nat, what Minister Giles did was create a new ministerial direction about how cancellation decisions should be considered.
And then the rapists used it to stay here.
Nat, what he did not do is reduce the importance of community safety in that direction. Now, as I've said to you, there are decisions that are made by this independent tribunal that I find very disconcerting and that I believe do not meet community expectations, or at least at face value. Minister Giles will now have the opportunity to review some of those decisions, and as I said, as I understand it, some of those visas have already been cancelled as a result of him stepping in and recalling those decisions.
You just haven't answered the question.
Because they think alike. So I had a couple of my members that didn't cut mustard with me and they didn't do the job. So I actually got rid of them. That's what it's about. Politics is about, you've got to have people there who know how to solve a problem. They can't solve problems. And if you don't want to get rid of someone, that means you're on the same page. And that's what tells me. They both think alike. Albanese won't get rid of Giles because Giles is thinking exactly the same way as Albanese.
This is a decision of government that has gone horribly, terribly wrong, like every decision of government seems to in this portfolio. Claire, Andrew Giles made this decision and directed the AAT to consider the ties to Australia of these criminals when making their decision as to whether to keep their visas or revoke their visas. AAT cannot be blamed for responding to a direction from the minister. This is his problem. This is his fault. He is now scrambling to fix a problem of his own making. Why is it that when something goes wrong in this portfolio, you blame the AAT, you blame the courts, you blame the department, you blame the coalition? When will Mr Giles take responsibility for the decisions that your government is making that is putting Australians at risk every single day?
Warning, I am about to talk garbage and not answer the question again.
Claire, that's a direct question. Surely the buck stops with him. He's the minister. He made the direction. They had to consider these people's ties with Australia. The AAT considered their ties with Australia and they said, gee, they have ties with Australia. So all these rapists, you want to know what they did? One raped a 14-year-old stepdaughter while his wife gave birth. One raped the sister of the mother of his infant child. One raped a disabled 14-year-old and a 16-year-old. One raped a child between the age of 10 and 14. And one raped 8 times, 48 counts of sexual assault on 25 women and a teen. The judge said he had no remorse. That's what we're dealing with. And you're still arguing support for the minister. Do you think that washes?
Look, Nat, I completely understand the concern that you have about these, and the crimes that you've listed there are absolutely horrendous, and no member of parliament and no member of the government is going to disagree with that. What has happened subsequent to that conduct is the Department of Home Affairs has cancelled those visas. They have cancelled them. They have taken that action and cancelled those visas. Then an independent tribunal has overturned those decisions. Now, Minister Giles has stepped in. He is taking action in this situation as he rightly should. He had set up a process. He had set up a process in the department of bringing back to him specific cases of concern, and it's really clear that that was not happening. And I know this was covered in Senate estimates last night. I'd say to you again, the decisions made by the AAT here, in my view, at first blush, do not meet any community standards that I'm aware of. They don't meet the expectations that we lay down for community safety. And that is why Minister Giles is looking at these decisions again. He's reviewing about 30 decisions at the moment, and some of those visas have already been
Claire, this is tough because you're stuck answering all these questions, Claire. With respect, you just haven't answered the question. Your head of your department, the head of Home Affairs, Claire, Stephanie Foster, admitted she was not raising the alarm. She was not warning Andrew Giles about this as these people were allowed to stay. She had admitted in that committee hearing that it was extraordinary. She admitted that she became aware recently because of media coverage how terrible this was. Does Stephanie Foster need to keep her job? What are you going to do about it? This is your department.
Yeah.
Warning, I am about to talk garbage and not answer the question again.
Absolutely, Nat, and I think it's been very widely reported that there have been some issues within the department that have been of concern to us, and we have set about making some really significant changes to that. We will get to the bottom of why it is that the process that was set out for Home Affairs was not followed. The urgent matter ahead of us is to get Minister Giles to reconsider these visas, as he has indicated that he's doing, to make sure that we can ensure that community standards are being met in visa decisions. But we will get to this issue in the department.
The matter is to get a new immigration minister because, quite frankly, this one has failed the Australian people. Anthony Albanese needs to sack Minister Giles. He needs to do it today, and you need to repeal and revoke Direction 99 today, so that nobody else walks about our community committing these crimes because of directions that this government has made.
Albanese is the most pathetic, gutless Prime Minister I have ever known. And I actually am so angry with him in the leadership role of this nation that I cringe when I see him. I cringe when I hear their policies. I cringe for the future of this nation. He's just, it shows me again, He is sitting on barbed wire fence. He's trying to appease so many people here, but also sticking up for his own values of what he stands for himself. It comes across to me so clearly. He's a gutless wonder. He shows no compassion for what's happening in this country. He was pathetic to listen to.